The following is a presentation of Turner Sports, where this year you saw cable television's exclusive coverage of the 18th Winter Games from Goodwill Games from New York.
After dropping Game 1 to the Sonics, the Lakers played Game 2 above the rim.
Bad pass, but Shaq snags it and slam dunks it. Here's the lob to Shaq, slam dunk. Pass under the basket to Shaq. He slam dunks.
And it wasn't just Shaq.
Oh, and no! Flight school is in session. Buckle up for Eddie Jones. Oh, what a play. Strawberry up high and down hard.
Tonight at the Forum, Seattle will try to ground the Lakers in Game 3. But first, on their quest for a 6th title, the Bulls took Game 1 easily from Charlotte. But Game 2 was a different story. Anthony Mason came out with renewed intensity on D. Del Curry, the original Hornet, shut Chicago down. And B.J. Armstrong, the ex-Bull, sparked Charlotte down the stretch. It's tied at 1. The Bulls and Hornets, the Sonics and Lakers, another playoff double dip on TNT.
And the Charlotte Hornets coming onto the floor of the Hive, which is buzzing tonight. It is the hottest ticket in Hornets history. The crowd here at the Charlotte Coliseum, prime for Game 3, with their Hornets coming off a big upset over the Bulls in Chicago. And tonight there's a glimmer of hope that this may not be the last dance after all. So welcome to Charlotte with the best-of-7 series in the Eastern Conference between the Chicago Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets, all even at 1 game apiece. And good evening, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Hubie Brown. The Bulls chairman Jerry Reinsdorf spoke out on the team's future today. Craig Sager will have more of that shortly. But first things first. Last year, the Bulls lost Game 2 at home against the Atlanta Hawks and then won 2 in Atlanta, ultimately winning in 5 games. So they have been down this road before. But Hubie, in the other night in Chicago, the Hornets tried some weird defensive moves that all worked. How did the Bulls get upset on their home floor in Game 2?
Well, I have to look at the game, Dick. At the end of 3 quarters, the Bulls are up 8, not playing a very pretty game, shooting in the low 30s, and you have this matchup, Mason on Michael Jordan. Michael stayed perimeter most of the time, did not get to the foul line until inside of 5 minutes. Now, at the other end, you also had a mismatch with Kukoc and Wesley. Now, we'll show you what happened with Michael. They're coming in the triangle. Here comes a screen and roll by Rodman. For most of the game, Michael would come into the middle, settle for the jump shot. Now we're inside of 5 minutes, and they are down 5. Michael decides to take it to the rim. Now, we know he can take Mason anytime off the dribble. He blows by him. Now, this is a field goal and a foul shot. Michael's first foul shot attempt of the game, and we are inside of 5. At the other end, also, we have a major mismatch. Wesley is playing Tony Kukoc and Scottie Pippen. He plays them from behind. You'll see the triangle to the left of the floor. The Bulls reverse it back to the top, and they post. But look where the post was. The post up was so high that the player would make the catch. Wesley stayed behind, and he forced them into fadeaway jump shots, either to the left or to the right. You must post up lower and punish the player by taking him to the rim.
But Michael Jordan is going to need some help. He led his team with 22 points. The other 4 starters shot 10 of 40 and turned it over 8 times in that game. But Hubie, you have to wonder whether the Charlotte Hornets head coach Dave Cowens will employ the same strategy, knowing that the Bulls have worked on it.
Well, Dick, tonight I don't think he can start that way, mainly because Chicago will have Luke Longley in the starting lineup along with Dennis Rodman. In the early going, Dave wants to put Mason on either Longley or Rodman. So that will change. But we will see it during the game, and they will challenge Chicago to see if they have an answer. Now, the bench was the main people. They scored 36 points. Curry with 15, BJ with 10, and Donald Royal with 7, and then J.R. Reed with 4. They did an excellent job and made the job very difficult. Here are 2 key guys. You can't win in this league unless you rebound. Divac, 19 boards, and then also 4 on the offense. Mason with 12 and 4, and then a very big 15 points. Now, Dick, can Charlotte shoot a better percentage in this building? A major key. They played here twice before. Chicago wins by 2 and loses by 3. Should be a great one.
And Pippen didn't play in that loss here at the Coliseum. Well, let's go back to the story today from Chicago regarding the Bulls' future. And for that, here's Craig Sager.
Chicago Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf issued a statement through the Chicago Tribune today that if the Bulls win the championship, it's his intent to bring everybody back and money will not be a factor. Reinsdorf said, "We have never had any intention of prematurely dismantling the greatest basketball team of all time." Here's Michael Jordan's reaction at this afternoon's practice.
If that becomes true fact, if the bridge can be certainly mended, all the things that have been said all season long to where, everybody stays intact. That's great. I'm on for it. But, right now, our focus should be on winning the championship.
Scottie Pippen said that he hopes it's not just damage control by the Bulls owner, but right now he is inclined to test the free agent market. Phil Jackson told me he never said he would not coach next year. He's just saying that it's not his intent. We'll be back from the Hive, the sold-out Hive in Charlotte, the Bulls and the Hornets, in just a few moments.
The Bulls and the Hornets, the Sonics and the Lakers tonight on TNT. We welcome you back to our Atlanta studio, and joining me tonight, a couple of guys who were teammates actually in Sacramento a long time ago. Reggie Theus.
and me catching another one of Kenny's bad passes.
And Kenny Smith. And check this out. Check the hops on Kenny.
Yeah, give it up, man. Give it up. There you go. There you go.
I can't even believe I passed it.
Great to see you guys again. Hey, Reg off the road and back in here, and Kenny's been in here the whole time. Good to see you again.
All right.
What are we making of the Chicago story today? That maybe it is not the last dance, huh?
Sounds scared straight to me. You've seen that before. I think all the national attention is really scared the Chicago Bulls, but I don't want to hear inclined to bring them back. Bring Mike back. Say it. Bring Scottie back. I think they deserve that.
There's no question. I've said all along that when it's all said and done, Reinsdorf and Michael Jordan would sit down and they would discuss the plight of the Bulls. But I think there's been so much bad blood between Jerry Krause and the team that they really should consider putting him in a position where he's not dealing directly with the players.
May have to get those hats redone. Maybe Last Dance '99 now that we'll see him next year. Back with more from Kenny
and a mule.
And Reggie at the break. Boy, it's great to have you back, Reg. Coming up, though, Michael and the Bulls, Game 3 with Glenn Rice and the Hornets. It's next.
Back at the Charlotte Coliseum here, tonight's starting lineup. As Hubie indicated, Luke Longley making the start at center for the Bulls. Rice, Mason, Divac, Phils, and Wesley. That's the five who have started the first three games of this series, and we're set to go. Dick Bavetta, Ron Oleziak, and Jimmy Clark are the officials. The Chicago Bulls in the last 2 years have lost back-to-back games only twice in the playoffs, and that was both in the finals. Seattle did it and Utah did it. And here is Anthony Mason in the low post, tried to make a tough feed inside, and it's picked off by Longley.
With Longley in there at 7'2", 295, he takes up a lot of space. You have to thread a needle there. Mason has got to look for his shot first.
Remember, the Bulls started out hitting one of their first 12 shots. It was a very strange start to game number 2 Wednesday night.
The main thing to remember in this series is we have poor shooting percentages. Chicago shooting 39%, Charlotte only 38%.
Pippen leaves it for Ron Harper, who hits. Ron Harper, who's been bothered by a hamstring injury, and he left the floor the other night. He has had a slow start to this series. In fact, has scored only 2 points in the first 2 games, giving the Bulls the lead. Mason guarded by Rodman. And here is David Wesley going back to Mason with 8 seconds and traveling called against Anthony Mason.
Yeah, that was a good call. Very good call. Mason got caught up in the fact that he thought he was going to make the pass to Wesley, who was cutting down the lane on a back cut off of Michael Jordan.
So let's see the matchups in this one. Glenn Rice will be guarding Ron Harper. And Divac is guarding Rodman. Mason is on Longley. Longley with the ball going strong to the hoop. And the rebound by Vlade Divac.
Divac has been sensational. Charlotte has out-rebounded Chicago in both games by 1 and by 4. Divac with 14 and 19.
And Divac has his shot blocked by Scottie Pippen. Pippen is guarded by Bobby Phils. Phils was guarding Michael Jordan in the first game of this series, so we have had numerous defensive matchup changes. It's been a chess match for sure early in the series.
Now, we've had excellent defense at both ends of the court. Now, you're going to see this is just a terrific recovery by Scottie Pippen with the block with the left hand. Now, at the other end, with Wesley guarding Michael, Michael is going to get to the post. They'll double team. This will open up better perimeter shooting for Chicago.
Bills is looking inside to Divac, guarded by Longley. Divac trying to go baseline, and they'll call Longley for the blocking foul. Longley playing his first 2 games, 14 minutes in game number 1 of this series, and then 25 minutes and doing the job off the bench, but got into early foul trouble in game 2.
You must challenge Longley off the dribble. And whether it's Divac, Mason, whoever is in there, because Luke is not going to move his feet. And if you get in 2 dribbles, you're putting him in a high-risk category for a foul.
Michael Jordan is guarding David Wesley. Pippen all over Glenn Rice, who has had a ice-cold series shooting-wise to start. Here is Mason backing in against Rodman. And there is Anthony Mason changing hands and misses. Remember, in game number 1, Dennis Rodman was all over and shut down Anthony Mason. But a loose ball foul has been called, and that'll be against Mason.
Now, you're going to see that all night. It's going to be a battle between Mason and Rodman. A lot of physical contact. The referees are going to have to make a wise decision of how much they're going to allow happen.
Here is Harper picked up by Rice on the runner. And here comes Mason with a rebound. A 3-on-2 situation for the Hornets. And here is Glenn Rice looking to get underway. And he hits the basket. Rice with a 2-point hoop coming in, hitting just 34% of the shots from the field. But Glenn Rice averaged 25 against the Bulls in the regular season here.
This is it right there.
Jordan goes right around Wesley as if he were not even on the court.
Well, you're trying to get away with a major mismatch there. Michael is not going to settle for the jump shot tonight.
And here is Glenn Rice missing from the perimeter. Divac fighting for the loose ball. Last touch by the Bulls.
Dick, the Bulls, they have got to pay attention to Divac. He's all over the offensive board. Just watch this quick move right here. See, there's no size factor. There's no strength factor. Michael is not going to let the double team get there. He's going to get off a move in a hurry.
And here is Wesley trying to drive around, and Wesley misses. Tapped up in the air, and Pippen has it. A 3-on-1 for the Bulls with Harper and Jordan on the wing. Pippen takes it himself, scores, and is fouled.
The middleman on the break. If they do not stop your dribble, they fake and they go away. Keep your dribble and take it right to the front of the rim. It's a smart basketball by Scottie Pippen because he is a finisher. So you've got to get up in there and stop the dribbler defensively and force the ball to change direction.
Scottie Pippen coming off a 4-for-16 shooting game after 25 points in game number 1. And he misses the free throw. The personal was on Phil's. The Bulls off to the early 6-2 lead. Here is Phil's in the low post. And they're going to get Ron Harper with the push.
Anytime that a guy is struggling, Dick, and in this series, Phil's is attempting 8 shots a game. He's only shooting 25%. Now, he's a key double-figure guy for you. Get him in low. Hope that he gets off to a good start.
And what looked to be a lob pass, not a shot. Errant throw off the glass, and the Bulls come back. Still leading by the 6-2 count. Michael Jordan misses. Divac taps it into the hands of Phil. So Jordan has 2 points, coming back to North Carolina, native of Wilmington, where he played and starred for the North Carolina Tar Heels. Glenn Rice pulls up and hits, so Rice looks like he's getting the shooting eye back. He has scored all 4 Charlotte points.
Well, he's the 6th leading scorer in the league at 22 a game. They say that he always shoots a high percentage here. Everyone in management is looking for a big game.
Ron Harper with a line drive on the 3, and there is releasing Glenn Rice. And Rice with the lay-in has scored 6. And all of a sudden, the Hornets have drawn even with just under 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter.
Now, you've got to watch out. The Bulls have got to watch out for that because they release guys in game 2 also. You take a shot from the top of the circle, they're releasing.
Jordan feeding Harper, and a good play by the Bulls. Ron Harper with his 2nd field goal of the game. So the Bulls regain the lead by 2. Mason, if he can, will try to low post against Dennis Rodman.
See, Rodman's not going to allow him to get down in there. Do you notice he's doing a little bit of that 2-step dancing, holding on around the hip?
Mason gets the open shot, however. on the screen and spot up, and Anthony Mason, the first Hornet other than Glenn Rice to score, evens it at 8.
If Mason can get any kind of an offensive game going, Dennis Rodman will have to pay attention.
Longley working against Mason, and he has several inches on him, and Longley makes the most of it. It's 7 feet 2 inches, and the big Australian gives Chicago the lead by 2 once more. Again, Mason now with a chance to post up against Rodman. They're bumping away, and Mason with a fall away. Divac with the offensive rebound.
Nice.
The basket good and a foul, and Divac picking up where he left off.
That's why we bring it out this point. Divac is averaging 4 offensive rebounds a game in games 1 and 2. This is his second one again this evening. So he's off to a good start. He's establishing himself big.
And Luke Longley picks up 2 fouls in the early going.
We'd like to show you Ron Harper with the basketball right here. Rice, his man, is here. He's going to come at him, and as the shot is off, he is going to take off. Harper looks to follow up the shot. You cannot do that when you're a guard in the backcourt. Keep an eye on it now. See, Harper thinks he's going to help out. No. All you got to do is get the rebound kick. The man is gone, and that's an easy 2.
Glenn Rice off to the better start. He had only 2 points in the first half of game 2 on 1 for 8 shooting, but he did get 10, Hubie, in the third quarter to keep the Hornets in the game.
For whatever reason, Dick, he just does not shoot a good percentage in Chicago. And during the course of the year, he only averaged 10 in 2 games. In the playoff game 1, sure, he scored 25, but he was 9 for 25. So you know that in this building, he loves it. He shoots a great 3-point percentage, and that's what they're looking for.
Vlade Divac unable to complete the 3-point play. Longley stays in the game with 2 personal fouls. And a foul away from the ball against the Hornets. And Wesley with his first.
Yeah, that was down on the baseline side. The Bulls were setting up what we know as a cutter from the corner. Once the ball went into the post, the baseline guy cuts, and Wesley was holding him up under the rim.
It's amazing how Dave Cowens devised the defensive strategy in game 2 on the bus coming to the United Center the other night, and then he had to sell his team on it as Ron Harper hits the shot. It was an unorthodox way, to say the least, to put something new in, but it worked, and they won the game.
You see right there, Michael Jordan's going to get double teamed. Ron Harper will be open all night long.
Glenn Rice and Pippen got a piece of that one, and Longley with the outlet to Ron Harper. Harper picked up by Bobby Phills, and here's Jordan. Jordan guarded again by Wesley, a smaller man. Knocked away, ran into Scottie Pippen.
Good
and
speed.
Wesley with the lay-in, and they're going to call goaltending against Ron Harper and credit the basket to David Wesley. But Michael Jordan ran into Scottie Pippen from behind, thus the loose ball and the fast break.
Well, Wesley definitely puts on the afterburners. You're going to see it right here. You have the strip right there by Phil's. Now here they come. Watch Wesley step out here right now. Now right there, the shot is up, and it just started to dip.
We're tied at 12, and here's Jordan coming around, meets Divac. Pippen is open for 3. Scottie Pippen hits. Scottie Pippen, remember, 25 points in game 1 when he and Jordan combined for 60 in the Bulls' 83-70 victory last Sunday.
Oh, nice move.
And Divac going around Longley, reluctant to pick up yet another personal foul. He has 2 already.
Yeah, and you know, see, Divac is smart. He's going to test Longley by taking him off the dribble.
Jordan with the fall away, and Rodman is there to clean up. And we have a tight and far better played game here in game 3 than we did the other night. Rice from Wesley on the lob, and this crowd going wild.
Well, you can see Scottie Pippen was slow getting back down the floor on Rice. And with the lob pass, Pippen was a little hot. The Bulls are yelling at one another right now because they're not happy with their defense. They do not like the tempo of this game so far.
Glenn Rice has 8 points, and we'll have another foul, and it'll be Glenn Rice, I believe, on the shove, his first personal.
Now, Vlade can take it all ways. He can get into the lane. He has the jump hook. He's got the regular hook. He's got the fadeaway, and then the spin moves. So he is a problem when he has his back to the basket.
Points in the paint thus far, and a 2-point edge for Chicago. Michael Jordan trying to use a screen from Luke Longley does, and he's got it. So Jordan now, with his second field goal, has 4, and the Bulls are up by 3.
Dick, Michael can shoot over Wesley even if he's with him. When they double team Michael, Harper is going to be the initial guy wide open, and that's what we have to keep looking for that.
And there's Phils posting up against Ron Harper. Bobby Phils, who has the ability to go strong to the basket, and Dave Collins would like to see more of that. And the Bulls lead now is 1 as we wind down to 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. Divac trying to save it, and it is still Chicago's ball as Rodman tried to hold off Divac. And the crowd knowing it, Divac trying to save it, and Rodman got away with it.
All right, this is just a beautiful play, defensive play by Divac. You know, Divac is much taller than Rodman, and he's taking advantage of the 7 foot with the arms up. You know, and now this is just a terrific move by Divac. Divac is all over the place in this series.
Pippen working inside against the smaller Bobby Phils, and a 3-second violation is the call against the Bulls. A very snappy start here in the first quarter of game number 3. Phil Jackson's Bulls and the Charlotte Hornets even 1 game apiece, with games 3 and 4 here at the Charlotte Coliseum. Game 4 will be Sunday. 3:40 remaining in the first quarter. And here is Wesley missing from the perimeter, and Rodman can't save it. So it'll still be Charlotte ball, and a chance for the Hornets to take the lead again.
See, if you're being picky, you're going to say, why did Dennis do that? Longley had the ball. They were the only 2 guys in the lane. Well, as Dennis is chasing the flight of the ball, he doesn't realize that that's Longley in that position. He was just trying to tap it and go get it himself.
Jordan is guarding Wesley, and here is Rice off the curl. Battle for the loose ball into the hands of Michael. Under 3.5 to play, first quarter. Pippen against the smaller David Wesley. Harper wide open on the other side, and Ron Harper, who had 2 points in the first 2 games, now leads the Bulls with 8.
Now Harper's been open, and you know his substitute Kerr will also be open if they continue to stay with this type of rotation.
We haven't seen shooting percentages like these at all in this series. Teams barely at 40% in each game. And here is Phils. And you can see that the Charlotte Hornets a lot more confident shooting here at home than they were at the United Center.
Well, you're happy for Phils because, you know, he's been struggling throughout the playoffs with his shot, and especially in this series, but he has been taking the shot. He's working so hard at the defensive end on Pippen, it's nice to see him relax.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by Original Coors. There's only one mile-high taste. Coors, the original. By Ford, makers of vehicles that are built to last. By The Home Depot, home of the low price guarantee. If you find a lower price anywhere, they'll beat it guaranteed. And by Fila, a new attitude, new performance. Change the game. And coming up on TNT after our game, it'll be game 3 as the scene shifts to the Great Western Forum. The Sonics against the Lakers. They're all even 1-1, followed by inside the NBA. And so now the Lakers are home for 2, Hubie.
Yeah, well, you know that game the other night, unfortunately for Seattle, they ran up against the Lakers hot offensively. The Lakers putting together a great defensive half court. But we know the Lakers are capable of that because of the great shot blocking, not only with one guy, but all 3 guys up front can block shots.
Tony Kukoc has come in the game replacing Luke Longley. Longley leaves with 2 personal fouls and 2 points. Here is Pippen working against Phils. Divac's trying to double on Scotty.
Well, if you notice, he has not been able to score.
Ron Harper misses. And the fight for the loose ball, Dennis Rodman. Rodman gets another chance, and he's fouled.
These 2 guys, Divac and Rodman, have been working hard, and it's their 3rd game. They match up against one another, and it's really a battle. You got to give them both a ton of credit. They're working hard. Now, this is Dennis. Now, he just throws this one up there to get it up, hoping that he would get fouled.
Dennis Rodman had 8 offensive rebounds among his 18 in game number 2. First free throw is good, and the Bulls lead 22-20, so a far cry from game number 2. In fact,
when you look at the fact that the Bulls won the opening game of the series shooting 41%, and the Hornets won game 2 at 40%, both teams in the rarefied atmosphere of over 50% shooting.
Well, everyone's happy with Rodman knocking in 2 during the year. He shot 55% from the line. Now, this is the first time in 2 games that we've seen Chicago come down the floor. They matched up man-to-man, not looking for any traps. But you never know when they'll put on that 1-2-1-1 press, or they'll trap you as soon as you come over half court.
And they put the trap on Glenn Rice momentarily. And the foul called against Tony Kukoc, who just entered the game. Kukoc struggling big time offensively in the first 2 games of the series.
You know, Dick, Scottie Pippen has been posted up in 2 games now, and he is not scoring with his back to the basket. They're looking for the double team. I would not double team him. Make him show that he can score in that position on fills.
Good idea. Under 2 minutes to go here in this first quarter. 10 on the shot clock for the Hornets, who trail by 3, and Rice very nearly lost the ball. Rice gets it inside against Rodman, and Dennis Rodman, a big presence, gets it out to Scottie Pippen. So the Bulls leading by 3, trying to establish their biggest lead of the game, as Michael Jordan misses a 3, but gets his own rebound.
There's your triangle. Inside cut.
And you can see that the Bulls not happy with what they're executing on offense. They appear out of sync. Michael Jordan couldn't bail him out with the jumper, and there is Divac passing court to Bills and lays it in as Divac got it over the outstretched hands of Michael Jordan, and that's the second time tonight the Hornets have gotten the easy basket that way, and they trail by 1.
That was a rope. He threw a rope and right on the money.
And he did the same thing in Chicago. Here is Tony Kukoc, well short with the air ball. Under a minute to go, and here come the Hornets again. Wesley feeding Rice.
Pretty.
And the Hornets have taken the lead for the first time tonight, 24-23. Glenn Rice in double figures with 10.
This is so important. They're holding Chicago to 1 shot. This is one of the top offensive rebounding teams in the league. You get that and get it out, you can score on them.
Michael Jordan gives the Bulls the lead again. Jordan now 3 of 7 from the field. Has 6 points.
See, the Bulls get back slowly. So anytime that you get a rebound and kick it out wide, you have the chance. You got to pick your spots. And right now, Divac is doing a terrific job getting it out long.
He has been a hero in all 3 games for the Hornets, even though they did lose game 1. Posting up against Kukoc, and Rodman getting the rebound, and now the Bulls playing for the last shot, leading by 1. Michael Jordan guarded by Anthony Mason. Jordan with the fall away. It doesn't go, and that'll do it as the Charlotte Hornets got 10 of their points on the fast break. And Michael Jordan, 4 points. But the other starters, who were very quiet in game 2, have come alive somewhat. And at the end of the first quarter, here at the Coliseum in Charlotte, the Bulls lead the Hornets by a score of 25-24. Bulls lead the Hornets by 1 as we start the second quarter, but the Hornets have certainly raised the shooting ante each quarter last game, especially the 59% in the fourth quarter. And so far tonight, they are shooting 52% of the field. Remember, they were 6th in the NBA in the regular season.
The free throw, Chicago's attempted 3, Charlotte 1. The rebounding, a wash. Fast break points, 10-2, Charlotte.
Bill Wennington is coming the game, along with Steve Kerr and Scott Burrell. So 3 new faces into the Chicago Bulls lineup as Scottie Pippen hits from the corner, and the Bulls lead 27-24. B.J. Armstrong, who had such a heroic game in the second half, particularly the fourth quarter, is in the game for the Hornets, and throwing the ball away was Bobby Phills. Oh! Great play by Scottie Pippen, who comes out strong with 2 baskets and an acrobatic move at the other end.
That was a terrific catch and a beautiful touch off the glass.
Mason is guarded by Kukoc now, and Pippen will be defending against Glenn Rice, who had 10 points in the first quarter. Here is Mason working against Kukoc, and he made it look easy that time. Anthony Mason now with 4 points, and he's got that big body to work his way in.
Yeah, well, he can back Kukoc down, and you know he's going to continue to do that. Right now, Charlotte has got to show us that they can score some points out of their half-court offense.
Kerr has the ball, knocked away by B.J. Armstrong. And Armstrong finds an open space, misses a two. Wennington gets the rebound for the Bulls. And Kerr finding Pippen, who's coming out strong here in the second quarter, but he misses that time.
4 on 3.
Armstrong. And Phils misses a three, and there's Divac with another offensive rebound, and the loose ball foul will go against Vlade Divac.
Now, I'll tell you why. That was a good call, Dick. That was a very good call, but it was a late call. Divac thought that he got away with over the back. Now, he definitely comes over the back to get the ball, but he thought he got away with it because he turned, and he started to go up the floor. Now, they're going to come with J.R. Reed right now, and they're going to go down inside. It's going to put a lot of pressure on the small front line of Charlotte with Mason, Rice, and J.R. Reed.
Divac with his second personal foul leaves the game. Pippen with Burrell, Wennington, Kerr, Kukoc. Here is Scottie Pippen with a spin move. And here come the Hornets. B.J. Armstrong, very active, trying to keep it away from Scottie Pippen, but Pippen reaching in, committing the foul, his first.
You know, in the old days in the 70s, you could get away with that. You know, hand checking in the backcourt was legal. And right there, Scottie Pippen, that was just a bad foul. He thought that he could strip the man. But when you are noted as a defender, and once again, Scottie made the all-defensive team, they allow you to get away with a lot of hacking. But at that time, he was out in the open.
A little more than 2 minutes going by here in the second quarter. The Bulls lead by 3. Here is Mason posting up. Burrell trying to double team, and there is Armstrong open in the corner, and Kerr got there, and the shot is missed. Steve Kerr guarded by Armstrong.
Now this is second unit. In the game the other night, 36-26 in favor of Charlotte.
So the Bulls are going to need more production from their bench against the Hornets. Got a lot more confidence than they had from game 1. Burrell gets the loose ball and finally puts it through after the ball tantalizingly hung on the rim.
Well, he has been Mr. Energy throughout the season and also in the playoffs. A heavy contributor to this club.
And a foot block by Burrell, and there'll be a new clock as the Bulls have matched their biggest lead of 5 points.
Now keep an eye on this long pass by Kerr to the left of your screen. Watch the catch. Scottie Pippen's back is to the backboard, and then the ability and the athleticism to softly put it off the backboard.
What they basically have done, in my mind, is made it a long series. And now it's going to be nitty-gritty. It's going to be great basketball. It's going to be 2 teams finding out who's better than the other team.
George Karl's Sonics lost Game 2 at home by 24. Game 3 in the series tied at a game apiece. Coming up later tonight here on TNT, the Sonics and the Lakers. Let's go back to Charlotte. Need a telestrator fix.
All right, here's Pippen with the ball. The ball is going to go into the post. When the guy does that, the baseline guy cuts. Pippen usually goes this way. But because his defender takes away the path, he runs a split cut. Now just watch it. See, right, they're laying off him, so he smartly read the defense and went opposite.
And the Charlotte Hornets turned the ball over as a pass went right through the hands of B.J. Armstrong. The Hornets have come in with Matt Geiger, who played 5 minutes of game number 2, coming back from a hamstring injury that limited to just brief action against the Atlanta Hawks in the first series. And Del Curry, who is a shooting hero in the fourth quarter, along with B.J. Armstrong, also is checked in for Charlotte.
Wow.
Kukoc misses from outside. Burrell, very active so far in the first half with the offensive rebound. Here is Bill Wennington, guarded by Geiger. Kukoc picked up by Geiger on the switch, and a pushing foul called against Geiger.
Yeah, that was a real nice move by Tony Kukoc. They ran their regular situation, backdoored from the corner, went through, and they brought Kukoc around from the top of the circle.
Armstrong is all over Kerr. Geiger picks up Kerr, and an offensive foul.
Now this is Tony Kukoc coming off that screen. That was a beautiful move. And once again, they catch a guy who has not played a lot of basketball since his injury, using his hands.
Bill Wennington with the offensive foul. So for the Hornets, Armstrong and Curry at guard, Reed, Rice, and Geiger up front. And Rice nearly lost it. Glenn Rice with 10 first quarter points. The double team on Geiger. 5 on the shot clock. And Kerr is all over B.J. Armstrong, who fires and hits from the corner. Tough shot by Armstrong with Kerr in his face.
The passing at the Charlotte end of the floor, Dick, has just been horrendous. Very sloppy, and they're not really taking advantage of all of the screens. They're missing guys when they're open.
Here is Wennington wide open, and Bill Wennington hits coming around a screen for his first points of the game. Wennington, who was not on the Bulls playoff roster last year when they won their 5th NBA championship, and this time Joe Klein was left off the Bulls roster for postseason.
Well, you know, Billy missed 34 games this year with a problem with the right elbow. It's nice to see him back.
And Pippen gambling for the steal, and it'll still be Charlotte's ball as the Hornets have 11 seconds to attempt a shot.
Now, defensively, Scottie Pippen is everywhere tonight. He's not only matched up with Rice, doing a terrific job there, but he is all over the passing lanes.
And he leads the Bulls in scoring with 9 points. Ball knocked out of bounds. Still 10 seconds on the shot clock for the Hornets. They trail 33-28. So with all of the hustle by the Charlotte Hornets, it's been a methodical game for the Bulls so far, and the home team is trailing.
Chicago playing within themselves. Charlotte helter-skelter, and they are not clean. Now here's Pippen with the ball. The ball is going into the post. There's your cut. Now watch Pippen screen here and keep an eye on Billy Wennington opening up right there. See, this is another phase of hitting the post man in the triangle. There it is. There's your beautiful screen, and that's what Wennington's in there. He's dangerous.
J.R. Reed with his first basket of the game. Former #1 pick who played in France last year. Had been with San Antonio, and the Bulls lead now is 3. And there is Burrell shooting over B.J. Armstrong, and Scott Burrell, who had his playoff high against the New Jersey Nets of 24 points in the clinching game against New Jersey, gets the basket. 35-30 to score. Michael Jordan has come back in the game for the Chicago Bulls. And since Jordan was out, the Bulls outscored Charlotte by 4. But a loose ball foul is called against Bill Wennington, his second.
Now, you never mind that, because Billy was up in there along with Scottie Pippen. He had 3 red shirts going for that rebound that time. And anytime that there are a lot of bodies in there, you have collision.
Luke Longley, who started tonight for the Bulls, playing more and more, coming back from his deep bone bruise on his knee, replaces Wennington. He had 2 fouls early, and Bobby Phills is in the game for Charlotte.
Well, with Longley, power, low post moves. Wennington, more finesse, and shooting the jumper, 18 to 20 feet.
And Jordan is guarding B.J. Armstrong, and he did all he could do to keep him away from the hoop in game number 2. Armstrong played a terrific game against his former team. And Armstrong, trying to beat Jordan off the dribble, goes out to Phills. Phills finds an opening, and Bobby Phills now with 8 points, second to Rice's 10. And the Bulls lead is down to 3. Phills shooting much better tonight. 4 of 5 from the field after shooting 25% in the first 2 games. And against the smaller Del Curry, Pippen misses the shot, trying to post up against the smaller defender, and now the Hornets down by 3 with the ball. Trying to pass out was B.J. Armstrong. 10 on the shot clock.
Plenty of time here.
And illegal defense called against the Bulls. That's the first call of the game, and the next violation will be a technical free throw as Steve Kerr will come back in the game, replacing Scottie Pippen. Pippen leaves, having scored 9. And Rodman also will check back in for Chicago. Kukoc goes out.
I think they're upset with Kukoc, Dick, mainly because he has forced a couple of shots. He's not allowed the triangle offense to rotate the ball to the weak side of the floor. I think they're a little bit perturbed, meaning the coaching staff.
9 points in game 2, only 5 in the opening game of the series for Kukoc. Scoreless so far tonight. Reed over Rodman. Anyone's ball, and let's see if Reed could save it. No, and it'll be Chicago's ball.
Anytime that Charlotte is on offense and they take the ball within 2 or 3 passes, something good happens. So there's no need to rush the shot.
Michael Jordan to Rodman on the baseline. Hard foul by Matt Geiger. Second foul on Geiger.
Well, the Chicago bench, they want a flagrant foul, meaning 2 shots, take the ball on the side. But right there, you can see Charlotte, as they come down in here now, I thought they were going for the shot block. Right,
it is
there.
A flagrant foul.
Yeah, they catch. All right, it's Geiger coming across and getting Rodman with both hands across the back of the head.
Dennis Rodman on the free throw line. Rodman with 18 rebounds in the last game, and unquestionably the wake-up call from Jason Williams and the Nets, who outplayed him in game 1 of the first-round series. And there is the 2 hands and the very hard foul and the flagrant.
The first man who was in there went for the shot block. And you can say that not only Geiger got him with the 1 arm, but he caught him with a 4-arm. And that was the reason for the call.
1 out of 2 for Rodman. The Bulls now lead 36-32. Vlade Divac has replaced Geiger in the Charlotte lineup. Dave Cowens, in his 2nd year with the Hornets, back-to-back 50-plus wins for the first time in the franchise history. Longley in the low post against Divac with the hook shot. And it goes. Longley now with 4.
Now that was so soft with beautiful backspin. That ball looked like it was going to bounce out and go away.
Curry missing the 3, and Jordan the rebound, as the Bulls with their biggest lead now of 6 points. 5 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the first half. Jordan going inside to Longley. No basket, and a blocking foul is called against Charlotte. J.R. Reed upset with that call. And it'll be 2 shots coming at the line.
First of all, a great pass by Michael Jordan into Longley. And Longley, look at this roll. See, he's looking. Now, right there, Dick Bavetta was on that call, and they're saying that the defender was inside of the dotted line, the new box line in there. If you're inside of that and you take it to charge, it is automatic foul, 2 shots.
Longley shooting 2, and this capacity crowd of Hornet fans and upset with the call.
All right, keep an eye on Dennis Rodman right here as he pushes Reed. Now keep an eye on this here now. Now you can see he just pushed him right in. A little nudge, a healthy nudge into a foul.
J.R. Reed leaves the game. And so does Del Curry, as Glenn Rice and Anthony Mason come back into the game for the Hornets. 1 free throw for Longley, and the lead is 7 for the Bulls.
Nick, you've got to pay attention to Luke Longley this year. He is looking to score first.
B.J. Armstrong using Mason as a screen. Curve fights through it. 6 on the shot clock. Rice guarded by Burrell, and a foul. No basket as Mason is bumped by Dennis Rodman. And that will be Rodman's first personal foul, and non-shooting.
If Mason can continue to post Rodman below the dotted line in front of the rim, you know, he can take advantage of him because he'll beat the double team.
Rice against Burrell, and Burrell doing a good job defensively. Scott Burrell having an outstanding first half for the Bulls off the bench.
They've got to get going with Rice, Dick. They've got to run some things where he gets some good luck.
Jordan travels as he tries to get around Bobby Phills, and that gets Phil Jackson's ire.
Yeah, he's up in our mainly because you see very few travel calls on Michael Jordan since he's been in the league. So
I don't remember one, to tell you the truth.
Now, right there. Now, it comes down to whether or not the ball is out of Michael's hand, all right, when he lifts that pivot foot, because it's a dribble.
Lead is 7, and Scott Burrell intercepting that careless pass by Armstrong. And Jordan has it picked off by Phills, and the Hornets get it back. Here's Rice. In and out. Divac trying to save it, but cannot. And the tempo furious here compared to the first 2 games of this series, as Burrell misses a dunk and a 2-on-1 break. Now 3-on-1. Anthony Mason lays it in, and the Bulls lead is 5 with under 4 minutes remaining in the first half.
I don't know, we're in this building, the people are going crazy. It looks like Charlotte should be ahead by 10 points, and you keep looking up there, and the Bulls are up 5.
And Michael Jordan is fouled. The Hornets have led only once, that at 24-23 and late in the first quarter.
Now, once they come out of this miss, and you're going to see the ball get right into the middle of the floor, and what you have is a 4-on-1 on Kerr. What you tried to do is reward the big people, and that time that was an excellent choice.
Bobby Phills with his second personal foul. David Wesley has replaced B.J. Armstrong at point guard, the former Boston Celtic. And Michael Jordan on the line. Jordan with 7 points so far. Well, coming up tomorrow on NBC, showtime at 12:30, followed by Game 3 between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knicks. Then it's Game 3 of the Jazz and Spurs. Very tough to win back-to-back games in the NBA playoffs, and with the Knicks down 2-0, they really have their work cut out for them. Indiana has been in control in the first 2 games of the series.
Well, you can see that the half-court offense of the Knicks is definitely out of whack, and you know Patrick is going to have to shoot a much higher percentage.
Steve Kerr on the steal, and the Hornets turning it over more tonight than they did in game number 2. That was their big problem in the opening game of this series. Kerr cannot connect. And finally, the Hornets, down by 7, have the ball, nearly 3 minutes to go in the half.
Dick, in game 1, Charlotte turned it over 19 times. In game 2, only 10.
And there's Glenn Rice inside. Rice now with 12 points after getting 10 in the first quarter.
Well, Dick, when he first came in this league, at Michigan, he was a terrific post-up player. So you know that he's got the post-up game along with the three-point game. But you must get him active.
Steve Kerr with a 3 from the corner. Coming into the game, Steve Kerr was 3 of 6 from beyond the arc, and he hits a big one there.
Well, they're getting a nice job, a nice contribution from Harper and Kerr tonight.
And Burrell as well. And there is Anthony Mason against Rodman. Mason off the mark. And Dennis Rodman has his 6th rebound of the game. It is 44-36. The Bulls lead by 8. It's their biggest margin. So very quietly on the enemy court, the Bulls slowly pull away here in the first half. Jordan against Bobby Phills. And the rebound by Mason. Michael Jordan, 3 of 9 shooting in this first half, but his team leads by 8. Rice. Glenn Rice now with 14 points. He is the only player in double figures for either side.
Dick, anytime Rice is at the top of the circle, it puts a lot of pressure on Scottie Pippen because Scottie cannot leave him in double team. If he does, he gets caught down inside. They get it right back to the top of the circle, and Rice can either shoot the 3 or he can fake the shot and get inside. That's a nice play right here for Kerr.
Timeout Bulls with 1:48 remaining in the second quarter.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. And by the Home Depot, America's home improvement coach.
Well, don't forget, coming up next on TNT, Game 3 between the Seattle Sonics and the LA Lakers. The series tied at 1 apiece, followed by Inside the NBA. And Sunday at 9 Eastern, Game 4, the Utah Jazz San Antonio Spurs series, and that is a terrific series thus far. Call coming up on TNT. Well, thus far, the Chicago Bulls have maintained the lead. Steve Kerr, who hit a 3 moments ago, has hit his 2nd beyond the arc, and the Bulls lead by a score of 47-38, a 9-point lead, their biggest.
You know, Dick, during the year, he's 5th in the league again in three-point shooting. He's a 44% guy. You've got to get up and play him. Very seldom will you ever see him take the ball to the basket.
And they've got Longley trying to defend the low post moves of Anthony Mason along with Dennis Rodman, and Longley picks up his 3rd personal foul. There are the mind games going on, as you see, with Rodman and Vlade Divac.
Yeah, well, Rodman, once this, I don't know where he gets it. Yeah, there it is right there. He catches him right in the left eye. Divac get the elbow up. You can see Rodman holding the eye. But, you know, when Rodman lays on you, that's going to happen because any guy, a big guy, is going to try to shed you with his elbow.
Anthony Mason from the baseline as Tony Kukoc replaced Longley, who goes out with 3. Mason has 8 points. He and Phil's are 2nd to Glenn Rice's 14. Bulls lead by 7. And Michael Jordan going baseline with a great move inside. And Jordan now leading the Bulls with 10 points.
Michael is not waiting tonight. As soon as he makes that catch, he's moving.
And a whistle, Michael Jordan talking to Dick Bavetta, and a Foul is called, and it will be against Steve Kerr. Jordan with 10 points tonight, and that means that in 1,000 consecutive games, including the playoffs, Michael Jordan has scored in double figures. That's a nice round number, 1,000.
Well, it's nice because, once again, it just complements the fact that he's in third place now, all-time in scoring, behind Kareem and Wilt. He's over 28,000 points.
And a technical foul has been called. Michael Jordan. Well, two things we haven't seen in a long time: a traveling violation against Michael Jordan and a technical foul against Jordan, particularly back in his home state of North Carolina.
Well, you know, they had a poll in USA Today. By 350 of 500 applications sent out, general managers, coaches, and players, Michael Jordan was picked naturally over like riding as the MVP of the league, and Dick Pavetta in a landslide as the #1 official. And we have #1 going against #1 here tonight.
And no ballot stuffing in either case, I'm sure.
I'm happy for Dick.
Bobby Bills hits the free throws. Yes, he has been and he's got a great demeanor and temperament on top of being an outstanding official.
Well, it's nice to be appreciated by the players, the coaches, and management. And also any guy who has ever played in the New Jersey Shore League loves Dick because he would give up his summers and drive all the way down from Brooklyn, at least 3 or 4 nights to referee.
I figured New Jersey would figure in there somewhere, Hubie.
Well, we're trying to cover the league. Will you stop it?
By the way, the Hornets have gone to the free throw line only once before that last sequence. Michael Jordan with a high shot. Jordan with 12. You don't think they're going to get him mad now, are they?
Well, I'll tell you, that was a sensational shot because of the height and where he laid it on the backboard.
Divac misses the rebound by Mason, and we have 25 seconds in running, 19 on the shot clock for the Hornets, who are down by 9 points. They have led only once, and that was in the waning moments of the first quarter by 1, playing for the last shot.
Yeah, you're going to have about 6 seconds, so the Bulls should be able to get it in quickly.
Divac is going to fire a 3, and he misses. The rebound by Rodman. Still plenty of time. Kukoc is going to go post up and hit. Pulled up and hit Tony Kukoc with the basket with 1.7 to go.
Time here.
And Mason flips it up. And the Nike halftime report is coming up with a preview of the Sonics-Lakers game as Reggie Theus will join Kenny Smith and Ernie Johnson in the studio. There is Michael Jordan. High arcing shot off the glass as Jordan ends up with 12 points. And at the end of the first half here in Charlotte, the Bulls lead the Hornets 53-42, their biggest lead.
The highest scoring half of this series. Keep in mind, the team leading at the half in this series hasn't won a game yet, but the Bulls on top, 53-42 over Charlotte. Later tonight on TNT, there's Eddie Jones getting loose in his gym, the Forum. Lakers and Sonics tied up in a game apiece with Game 3 still to come tonight. We welcome you to our Atlanta studio. The Nike halftime report. Ernie Johnson joined by Kenny Smith and Reggie Theus. Guys, the first half of this game, the Bulls coming back from a loss at home in Game 2. Michael averaging 36 in the playoffs, held the 22 the other night.
And you have to think that Michael, coming off a subpar game in Chicago where they lost, he was going to come out the next night and score big. Well, the one thing you don't want to do is allow Michael to get into his rhythm. They did just what they shouldn't have did early in the game. They're guarding Michael Jordan with Wesley Person. Of course, he's going to take him down low. Michael getting out early. But the Hornets don't let him get into the game all the way because they got 14 points off of fast breaks, and they got out early. Right now, not doing a great job in the game, but certainly in the hunt.
Yeah, I agree with him totally. After a loss, everybody in the country is saying, Michael's going for 50. Oh, my gosh, Michael's going for 50. But I think the other Bulls, they step up to it, and they realize that after a loss, they have to step up. So you look at here, Michael has the ball up front. Ron Harper's casually able to get to the lane and slice there, get an easy basket. So it's really easy for the Bulls to really, the lack of concentration by the Hornets on other players. Here's Ron Harper again, wide open. I mean, just wide open shots, and normally that wouldn't happen. And Scottie Pippen is always going to step up after a loss because he knows that he has to take pressure off Michael. Instead on 3-on-1, instead of giving it up, he keeps it, gets a three-point play, and that's the difference. The other guys, they read the paper too, and they say, hey, we have to step up and not put all this pressure on Michael.
Do you think the Bulls are able, guys, to put all this Reinsdorf, Krause stuff behind them? Jerry Reinsdorf again coming out and saying, you know, if they win the title again, his inclination is to keep everybody intact. Are the players sick of hearing it? Are they sick of talking about it? What's the impact?
I think, Ernie, I think the whole country's sick of hearing about what's going on with the Bulls and management. I know everybody are pro Michael and pro the Bulls. They want him to leave that team alone. It's just a shame, and I know it has to wear on the players.
Yeah, I just think that they need to come out and say, we're having everybody back. No, regardless of what happens, they deserve it. 6 championships, 5 championships, whatever, we're going to have them all back anyway.
A couple of guys never afraid to shoot, shooting from the hip here on the Nike Halftime Report. And when we come back, we're going to look ahead to Game 3 of the Sonics-Lakers series. LA's back home after gaining a Seattle split. Kenny and Reggie will pick this one apart when we come back. Welcome back to the Nike Halftime Report. NBC tomorrow, coverage beginning at 12:30 with Showtime. Then you got Indiana and New York, Utah and San Antonio. Sunday, a triple header with the Pacers and the Knicks leading it off. Then Seattle and the Lakers, and the Bulls and Hornets Game 4 from the Hive in Charlotte. Sunday night, we're back at you. The Jazz and the Spurs in Game 4. How are you going to spend Mother's Day night? I know how we're going to spend it, and you should too. With Mom, watching the Jazz and the Spurs. Of course, Reggie Theus will be working that game with Bob Neal Sunday night, and if he's lucky, he'll be able to spend a little more time in San Antonio with Avery Johnson.
Hold on one second. Reg, I heard you kind of been impersonating me a little bit. So tell me to my face, you give me a Avery Johnson impersonation while we on the air. And I want to send this back to my boy Kenny Smith in the studio. This is Reg impersonating me, and Kenny, you supposed to take up for me. Go ahead, Reg. Hey, AJ, you know, John Stockton is a tough cover, you know, dream team player. You know, what do you think about covering John Stockton through this series?
Well, Reg, I just love John Stockton. I love the way he plays, you know. He's one of the few guys that I know in the game today that can, you know, win a game with his passing, you know. And I tell you something, we had it going on. That last shot of the game, Reg, I thought we had a good look at the basket.
Oh, man, go ahead.
They're going to take up for Avery, huh?
Hey, you got to leave my land alone. The little general, man, I babysit for his kids, so you got to leave him alone.
See,
don't forget, you're still my rookie.
Okay.
The multi-talented Red. Now you see why he's getting all that space in Sports Illustrated, just for stuff like that. Still to come tonight on TNT, Game 3 in the Sonics-Lakers series. After dropping the opener, LA roared back to win Game 2 by 24. What are the teams saying before Game 3?
I've talked a lot. We've showed film a lot. We've made adjustments. I'm more nervous that that's going to block them more than help them. You know, playing is more important to me than the X and O's.
If we can get 2 wins or get this first win, I think you can really put their backs against the wall right now, because we know and they know we can go up there and beat them. And if we can get a win here on Friday, we got everything in our corner.
Of course, I think the best quote going into Game 3 comes from Del Harris in the LA Times, who said, "It's like what Reggie Theus says. We're a flow team." I don't know exactly what he means, and I don't think he knows what he means, but he's right. We are a flow team. It's almost a yogiism. So what is a flow team here, Reg?
Oh, that's it. You got me again on that one. Oh.
Welcome back.
Well, you know, the Lakers are a rhythm team, and when you watch the Lakers as much as I do, you know that when they get out and get into their flow, Ernie, I'll hook you up later.
All right. Hook Dell up at the same time, if you would.
But the Lakers were a +8 rebounding through the course of the season over Seattle. In the first game, they were killed on the boards. That's why they went big, so they could get into the open court. That got Eddie Jones going, gets Nick going, and then in that game they were +13. So Lakers are definitely a rhythm team. It's you know,
it's a flow thing.
It's a flow thing.
Now, what's the Sonic mindset going into this game?
Well, the flow for the Sonics is, no, I think they got a little bit exposed in the Minnesota series, meaning if you put 3 guards on the lineup, their traps aren't as effective. And the Lakers have Eddie Jones, they have Rick Fox and Nick Van Exel or Derek Fisher in the game, so that kind of lessens their trap. To win, I think they have to do less trapping, and I think they'll be more successful.
Also, the Lakers are one of the best teams in the league at taking it off the dribble. When you trap, the one thing that gets to the Sonics is if you take it to the boards.
They go straight to it.
And that's what the Lakers do best.
We flow right along here on the Nike Halftime Report. It's just not long enough to get all the stuff these guys want to say into it, but we'll be back.
Oh, you guys are fun.
Later tonight, after the Sonics and the Lakers inside the NBA, Vince and Jim Clemens, the former Mavericks head coach and longtime Phil Jackson assistant in Chicago, who has 4 championship rings. Beginning July 19th on the Superstation, TBS, the 4th Goodwill Games from New York City. Dan O'Brien, best athlete in the world. The world's best, going to New York to prove it. Here at the break, 53-42. The Bulls by 11 over the Hornets. MJ's got a dozen. Later, the Sonics and the Lakers.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
And welcome back to the Charlotte Coliseum. Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals. The Bulls, who scored 37 at the half in Game 1, 36 at the half in Game 2, have 53 points, their biggest lead of the game, 53-42. They have outshot the Hornets 52% to 44, and the bench doing the job. Even in Game 1, Hubie, when the Bulls won 83-70, Jordan and Pippen accounted for 60 of their points, and we know that the rest of the starters, other than Jordan, didn't do the job in Game 2, but it looks like everyone getting into the act tonight.
What you like tonight, Dick, is remember, they lost the rebounding in Games 1 and 2. They're dominating there. And then the point guard position, very quietly, Steve Kerr and Harper have 14 points, very quietly. And then at the other end, Charlotte cannot make a 3. One of the top 3-point shooting teams in the league, 0 for 6.
Michael Jordan doing something he didn't do in Game 2, and that is going to the basket.
Now, the reason why you love it tonight, remember, after 4 games in a playoff, Michael was going to the line 15 times a game. In Game 2, he did not shoot a foul shot until there was 4 minutes and 47 seconds on the clock. Tonight, no doubt about it, baby. Every time it touches his hands, he's looking to take you all the way to the glass. You can see the drives, the jump shots. He's not settling tonight and then getting to the line.
All right, let's check in now with Craig Sager.
Well, Dick Hubie, Coach Dave Cowens also mentioned the 0 for 6 from the three-point range. What bothers him most is who's taking them. He says Glenn Rice only took 1 and Bobby Phillips 1, and he said Del Curry 1. He said he doesn't like when he looks down there and sees that Mason is taking them, and so is Divac. He also wants to put more pressure on the Bulls as he did in Game 2. Dick?
All right, thank you very much, Craig. And the Chicago Bulls playing only their second playoff road game, and their first one was the clincher against the New Jersey Nets when they swept New Jersey, and it was their most dominating game. So the Bulls, to this point, have played their best games in their 2 road games. They're the scoring leaders. Rice with 15 for Charlotte, Michael Jordan with 12 for the Bulls. So it's Rodman, Longley, Pippen, Jordan, and Harper starting out the third quarter for the Bulls. Scottie Pippen against Glenn Rice. Longley gets it back into Pippen with 3 on the shot clock, and Pippen with the one-hander, and a foul is called. And that will be called against Glenn Rice, his second person.
What you like to see, Dick, is when a guy posts up, he has the ball, and he throws it out, and he reposts that you get it right back at him and get that foul on the man or let him get a high percentage shot.
Rodman looking into Pippen, and Pippen guarded by Rice, who has 2 fouls. Pippen goes right around Glenn Rice and lays it in. Scottie Pippen now in double figures has 11. For Charlotte, they're starting out with David Wesley and Bobby Phills who guard, although Anthony Mason's handling the ball. Glenn Rice and Vlade Divac round out the starting 5. And a 3-point basket by Glenn Rice, and that is his first of the game. He has 18 points, and the Bulls lead by 10.
Right now, Scottie Pippen 5 for 8 from the floor. Glenn Rice 8 for 14. It's a heck of a battle.
Rice starting to come alive in the shooting department after shooting 34% in the first 2 games. Pippen with a height advantage on Phills, goes strong to the basket, and a foul called against the Hornets. And Pippen will go to the free throw line. Personal foul is on Wesley, his second.
As soon as Wesley picked up Pippen, he immediately made the catch, took him off the dribble, and defeated the trap. Divac came on the trap. Pippen was too quick, split the trap.
Scottie Pippen, who was out the first 35 games this year with foot surgery, in spry condition, considering that he is not tired going into the playoffs this year for the 35-year-old.
Well, anytime you only play half a season, it kind of helps, especially at his position.
And this is the time they need him.
Yeah, you know, you love his overall contribution. He's the middleman on the break, so he gets 6 assists a game, 6-7 rebounds, gets you 20 points, and then is one of the premier defenders that we have in the NBA.
All defensive first team for the 7th time in his career. Michael Jordan, of course, made it for a record 9th time. And Dennis Rodman did not make the first or second teams. A bit of a surprise as Jordan picks up his first personal foul.
Now, Michael made it for the 9th time. Bobby Jones, an old Carolina player, also did it 8 times.
Couple of Tar Heels right up there. Glenn Rice, now 9 of 15 shooting, trying to keep the Hornets in the game as he did in the 3rd quarter of Game 2. A 10-point Bulls lead, double team on Pippen. Harper, who spent a lot of time on the bench in the first half. He's got that hamstring problem. Divac on a block on Longley, and they're going to jump it.
Well, you can see when they hit Longley in the post, Dick, he's allowing the cutters to go through, and then he's working hard. He's looking for the shot. But you see, he made himself small there. Anytime that you take the hook, you want to go up in the air. You want a high jump. You don't want a broad jump, because when you broad jump, you lower your size and you allow a tall defender to block the shot.
22nd timeout called by the Chicago Bulls with nearly 2 minutes gone by in this 3rd quarter. Glenn Rice, who has 20 points in the game. The rest of the team in Game 2 had 9. Rice had 10.
You know, I like to go back to that all-defensive team, Dick. You know, people who read the history of the NBA say, hey, Bill Russell is the greatest defensive player of all time. Why isn't he on the... Well, they did not start to pick all of these teams, all defense, you know, well, they always had MVP, but all of the subservient... Six-man, you know, things of this nature. Because Bill Russell would have made it every year that he was in the league. It'd be the all-defensive guy, and no one would probably catch him.
Not to mention shot blocking, and they didn't keep those stats either. 2 minutes gone by. The Bulls lead by 10. Charlotte leading only once, that in the first quarter by a point toward the end of the first period. So the Bulls have been in control of this game on the road. And here is Wesley, knocks it out to Phils, and Phils will fire away short as the buzzer sounds. Rice gets the rebound. And Longley finally comes up with it. Everyone seemed to stop dead in the tracks when the buzzer sounded, and Rice had an open shot but couldn't convert. Here is Divac. Nice. Denying Longley, comes up with the steal. I tell you, Vlade Divac has had 3 solid games for the Hornets.
Well, the rebounding was there at halftime, like always. And the main thing is he's a double-team guy and helping out.
Here is Mason against Rodman, and Anthony Mason now in double figures with 10 points.
Now, Mason has a real complaint there. He's yelling at Ronald Aziak because he was pushed by Rodman right on the hip.
The lead is 8 now for the Bulls. And there is Wesley guarding Pippen. And a big advantage on a mismatch for Pippen. Now Michael Jordan in the lane. Misses his first shot of the 3rd quarter. And Vlade Divac, ever the nifty ball handler, gives it up to David Wesley. Wesley trying to penetrate. And the rebound, Pippen.
Everything is a force shot. They've got to clean up the offense, Dick, because right now they're not getting high percentage looks.
Here is Pippen with a fake on Jordan with a fake on Divac, and a good pass to Luke Longley, who is fouled and will go to the line.
Divac has just been a little bit everywhere. Now there it is. It's a good gamble over the top. He's played the passing lanes well. Now just keep an eye on Rodman. Watch him push right there. You can see him. He pushed them out, forced them to glide in the air, but Mason had the ability to put up a soft shot.
David Wesley with his 3rd personal foul. And Luke Longley with 8:22 on the 3rd quarter clock makes good on the first free throw. And will try to give the Bulls a 10-point lead. Dave Cowens, who's the Charlotte Hornets with a 32-9 record here at the Coliseum this year, their best home record in club history.
Now they've been a very consistent team. And when you consider, Dick, that Divac
and Phils both missed over 20 games, and also your best sub off the bench, Del Curry, also missed over 20 games. So they were an consistent ball club.
Ron Harper leaning in on Phils, committing the personal foul. That's 2 on Ron Harper. This is game 3 of the best of 7. Remember, a year ago, the Atlanta Hawks stole game 2 from the Bulls at the United Center and actually had a 6-point lead at the half of game 3 before the Bulls turned it on and ultimately won by 20, and they won the series in 5. Glenn Rice leaves it for Mason. Mason driving against Scottie Pippen, using that body and getting the basket. Pretty move by Anthony Mason.
Yeah, I'd like to see him do that. Rather than throw the fade away, take the reverse move and take it strong, because he's so big. He can shoot the hook with either hand. I think that he'll get more foul shot attempts as this game rolls on.
Longley missing from outside, and Rodman with an offensive rebound. And a steal. Mason 3-on-3 now, and here is a behind-the-back pass by Wesley, and now a 2-on-1 for the Bulls with Jordan and Pippen, and Divac's foul, Scottie Pippen driving.
When you're on a break like that, you just don't need the mustard, and that's what we got with Phils. They were down there with that behind-the-back pass. Wesley, you didn't need that. All you needed was a meat and potatoes. You had a guy following, and it could have ended up in a nice 15-foot shot. Now you're going to see Pippen go. He definitely got fouled. Divac caught him right across the wrist there.
3 personals on Bloody Divac. And Scottie Pippen makes good on the first free throw. Divac, who has been a monster off the glass. Remember, he came over from the LA Lakers. In fact, played for the Lakers against the Bulls when the Bulls won their first NBA championship 7 years ago. So it's 60-51, a 9-point lead. And Rodman and Mason, and they're going to call Anthony Mason for the offensive foul.
Yeah, you see that time he hit him with his forearm. Watch that left forearm right there. And a little bit of a flop.
A little bit.
Yeah, you'd rather see Mason go in there and do the reverse move. Because when you do the reverse spin, you catch the defender on your back. And now if you have a game, he's at your mercy.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by Dutch Boy Paints. Give your home the lasting look of Dutch Boy. And by GMC, putting you comfortably in command.
Bulls keeping the Hornets at arm's distance, leading by 9, almost midway through the third quarter. Don't forget, coming up next on TNT, Game 3 between the Sonics and the Lakers, followed by Inside the NBA. That series is tied 1-1. Sunday at 9 Eastern, Game 4 of the Jazz and the Spurs from the Alamo Dome in San Antonio. That's all coming up on TNT. Rice and Mason, two-man gang for the Hornets, as B.J. Armstrong has replaced David Wesley at point guard for the Hornets. Here's Michael Jordan with the jumper. He's got it. Jordan with 14 points, his first of the second half.
Yeah, and that's been there throughout the series. Anytime they run that screen and roll from over on that area, Michael is leveling off, and they're catching the defenders late.
Rodman doing a good job on Anthony Mason, as he did in Game 1 of this series. Here is Armstrong, and he misses a two-point attempt. A Bulls situation with Pippen in the open floor, guarded by Glenn Rice. Here is Jordan with a turnaround over Armstrong. He knew he had him. And Michael Jordan now with the basket has 16, and that makes it 64-51 in favor of the Bulls. And Glenn Rice comes right back with his 22nd point.
Yeah, I'd like to see Rice get down inside. Every time they've gone some down there, something good has happened. And Pippen, as tough a defender as Pippen is, Rice still can shoot up over the top.
Here is Harper, and Divac the rebound. Bobby Phils now switched on to Michael Jordan. Jordan, meanwhile, guarding Armstrong at the other end. Armstrong using a screen and missing the shot. So the Hornets take Armstrong off of Jordan momentarily and put Phils on it.
Yeah, you can see the bench right now for Charlotte, 2 for 10, Dick.
Jordan with the bump and the foul, and will go to the line. And, of course, Del Curry hasn't really been the scoring machine he was in Game 2.
You need the looks, and you need to get in a groove. And speaking of a groove, this guy is in one tonight.
He's saying, hey, Wesley, B.J. Armstrong, I'm shooting right up over the top of you guys.
Curry and Armstrong combined for 25 points in Game 2. They have scored only 2 points thus far tonight. Thus the problems with the Hornet bench. Well, beginning July 19th, TBS Superstation brings you the 4th Goodwill Games from New York. 1,500 athletes, including figure skater Michelle Kwan, compete in 15 sports. A great summer event coming up, the Goodwill Games on TBS, the Superstation.
If you're looking at both teams' offenses right now, the defenses are tough, but the Chicago getting what they want, their prime guys, high percentage areas. At the other end, it is just too chaotic, and they are struggling to get high percentage shots for 3 guys.
Jordan has 18, and the Bulls matching their biggest lead of the game of 13 points. Pippen doing the job on Rice, and Rice shooting, and it drops for him, so Glenn Rice now with 24 points. Remember, he averaged 25 against the Bulls in the 2 games here in the regular season.
Now, that was a nice move, Dick, mainly because Dennis Rodman came right over and challenged that shot.
5 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. Curry in the game for the Hornets. Rodman inside, and he makes the basket. He was all alone waiting for the pass, and he converted. Dennis Rodman has 7.
The big thing is in this series, Dennis is attempting 8 shots a game. That was a pretty pass by Michael.
He's looking to score, no question about it in this series if given the opportunity. Rice for 3, and he had Pippen running at him. So Scottie Pippen again doing a defensive job and making life difficult for Rice despite Rice's 24. 4.5 minutes remaining in the 3rd. The Bulls lead by 13, trying to open up their biggest gap of the game, and Michael Jordan trying to do it, and does. 70-55, a 15-point lead. Timeout called by the Hornets. Michael Jordan has 20, and the Bulls doing everything right so far in Game 3.
We'd like to give you Michael off the dribble, and as he splits the double team here, look at this nice pass to Rodman, and then Rodman sends it home. Now on the screen and roll here, this is very few times tonight Michael has gone baseline. How about the reverse move and then the fadeaway against the 7-footer? Divac's looking for a shot block.
That was a 20-second timeout called by the Hornets. Michael Jordan, who has 20 points on 8 for 15 shooting. And he likes the rims here at the Charlotte Coliseum because Jordan shot 50%, averaging 29 a game in the 2 games in the regular season here in Charlotte. He's got 40 tickets that he gave out to friends and family here in North Carolina. And he said he got rid of all the ticket obligations by the time he landed yesterday here in Charlotte.
And tickets are a major problem for any athlete.
Glenn Rice, basket good and a foul as he goes baseline. 26 for Glenn Rice, again trying to keep the Hornets in the game in the 3rd quarter. 4 on Longley.
See, I like him down in this area, Dick, because he's so active. He has the long step that in that first move, it's a quick step, and then when he elevates, he has such control, and he's a strong upper body guy.
Glenn Rice had 10 points for the Hornets in the 3rd quarter to keep them afloat. In Game 2, he has 12 points here in the 3rd quarter, but his team trails by 12.
The 3-quarter court press tonight is not even phasing Chicago. They're getting the ball up quick, and they're staying within their offense.
Jordan misses. Rodman fighting for the rebound. He's got it. 11 boards for Dennis Rodman. And again, doing a number off the offensive glass tonight. He has 3. Appeared to have more, but he only has 3 officially. 10 on the shot clock. Jordan driving to the basket. Foul. No basket. Foul. Jordan will shoot 2.
At the top of the show, we brought out the point in Game 2. Michael stayed perimeter, and the main reason was Mason was on him, but he was having a good night shooting from the perimeter. And then he finally started going to the rim with 4 minutes and 57 seconds left. Tonight, there is no doubt where he is going.
Bold defensive matchups by Dave Cowens in Game 2. We have not seen Anthony Mason defending against Jordan yet tonight. The foul was on Bronny Divac, and that was his 4th foul. So J.R. Reed will come into the game, replacing Divac. And there are Michael Jordan's very impressive playoff numbers. averaging over 33, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Divac's out with 4. Reed in for him.
Well, Divac's problem tonight is that he continues to get fouls, picking up everyone else's man as they are dribbling by the defenders.
22 points for Michael Jordan. Glenn Rice leading the Hornets with 27. So the big guns doing it tonight for the respective teams, but the Bulls getting a lot of help for Jordan. Not so for the Hornets after Rice. 5 on the shot clock. And Pippen really making life tough for Rice. And 1 second on the clock. Illegal defense, and this will be a technical free throw coming up. It is the second illegal defense call against the Bulls.
Now that's a crime, mainly because the Chicago Bulls played that offensive set as well as you can play it. They were all over all of the screens on both sides of the lane, and then Pippen does a he could have been called for a foul right there on that initial move where he hit the ball. But right there, that was a bailout, but they did have an illegal defense to the right of the lane.
Glenn Rice shooting the technical free throw. 28 points for Rice. And the Hornets will inbound, trailing 72-59. The Chicago Bulls led by 1 at the end of the first quarter and 11 at halftime.
Charlotte needs a little bit of a spurt here, Dick. And it's got to come not only offensively, but the defense has got to stop Chicago. Oh, wow.
Plenty of time on the clock. Pippen blanketing Glenn Rice. A couple of pumps and Rice. And now come the Bulls.
The Bulls doing a terrific job in limiting Charlotte to 1 shot.
Bulls were impressive in their only other road game in this playoff, that against the New Jersey Nets in their clinching game in the 3-0 sweep. And this has been their best game since then. Jordan fouling Rodman, and a 3-second violation is called as Rodman was in the lane too long. Timeout with 2:33 remaining in the third quarter, and the Bulls right now with a comfortable lead.
Well, the idea is to get one. You know, we can get this one, then we can certainly focus on getting in the next one. So, I mean, we know that they took the home court advantage by beating us in Chicago. And we want to come back here and return the favor and put things back in our favor.
Very rarely do the Bulls lose back-to-back games in the playoffs the last 2 years. Only twice. That in the NBA Finals to Seattle 2 years ago in Utah last year when those two teams won back-to-back games. Other than that, the Bulls stay out of that trouble.
Dick, during the course of the year, they were 25-16 on the road. We know last year everyone played them close. It was 3-0, 4-1, and 4-1 in the East, and then 4-2 in the finals. And all everyone keeps talking about is how close all the games were. All right. So that's what you have to remember about that. Because they defend, take care of the boards, and then you got 23 on your side.
So just look at the final numbers and you see how impressive they've been. Rice missing from outside. Mason keeps it alive. B.J. Armstrong in there with Rice, Mason, Del Curry.
He's got to take him strong. Take him strong.
He falls away and hits the basket. Not your style, I know, Hubie.
No, but he bumped him. See, he knocked Kukoc right back, Dick.
Well, Rice and Mason are shooting 56% tonight. The rest of the team, 33. Kukoc misses. Kukoc again with the follow-up as Michael Jordan upset with Tony Kukoc for missing that first shot.
Yeah, he's trying to wake them up. Dave Cowan's very disappointed. You know, mainly because no one picked up Kukoc. And then for them to get 3 shots at your basket and not one white shirt even be contesting, that's it.
And there's a foul called as Mason fouled by Rodman. They give each other a pat on the back. These are 2 warriors going at each other who respect each other. Rodman picking up foul number 2.
Now, if you're refereeing this game tonight, you know what's a foul. And you're going to see these 2 guys, they're constantly banging at both ends of the floor. Now you can see Rodman using the forearm, and then I caught him right across the arm.
Jordan is guarding B.J. Armstrong. Pippen is on Rice. Great defensive effort by the Bulls overall tonight. Kerr is on Curry, who is yet to get on track as he misses. Del Curry, who is the hero in the fourth quarter, so far tonight is 0 for 2. He hasn't even taken enough shots to help his team.
Well, Dick, you know, you got to get guys like that open, and unfortunately for Curry tonight, Kerr just got popped right in the jaw.
Steve Kerr, who was battling injuries this year, he missed 32 games with broken collarbone, and then he also had a bruised bone in his left knee. He may be one of the smallest Bulls, but he's pretty tough.
Just keep an eye on this play now. Now watch it right there. All right here. There it is. You can see he got rocked right back because as Curry was fighting through, he caught him with his left forearm.
Kerr with the free throw, that's good. Michael Jordan with 1:02 remaining in the third will go out of the game. He has scored 22 points in a fine all-around effort. And Randy Brown, who has been kind of a forgotten man for the Bulls in this series, replaces him. And Matt Geiger and Donald Royal will come in for the Hornets.
Well, Dick, you made a good point. See, during the year, Randy Brown played 16 minutes a game. But at playoff time, the Bulls have 3 guys averaging 42 minutes a game: Jordan, Pippen, and Rodman. So naturally, their time is extended. The guys on the bench get less time, and you reduce your rotations. No longer 10 guys. Basically, the Bulls play 8 guys.
Steve Kerr, who has hit 2 from beyond the arc, makes good on the free throws, and the Bulls are 17 of 21 from the line. Charlotte has gone to the free throw line only 6 times.
Now there's the trap. They got one trap. Now they're looking for another here.
And it's tipped by Brown out of bounds, and Charlotte will have 16 on the shot clock.
Now that's a good group to be pressing and trapping with, because you have Rodman in the back anchoring, and then Scottie Pippen as your freelance midfielder.
Lead is 15 for the Bulls as Geiger, who's come in the game. Now he's posting up against Dennis Rodman. Matt Geiger, and he misses the rebound by Dennis Rodman. 14 rebounds for Dennis Rodman, who had 18 in the last game and 14 in game 1. And it's still Charlotte's ball with 29.7 on the game clock and a new 24 on the shot clock.
In this quarter, you see an exasperated coach right there, Dave Cummins. He just feels he can't get a call. He's exasperated mainly because his half-court offense has struggled all night long. Dennis Rodman doing a terrific job on post-up people by pushing them away from where they want the high percentage shot.
It'll be the Bulls, not the Hornets, inbounding as the rebound story. Bill Wennington has come in the final seconds, and Steve Kerr calling for the timeout as he was going out of bounds with 27.4.
Yeah, both feet on the ground, and he was inbounds. You can make the call.
Can't be in the air. That's the new rule this year. Chicago Bulls in command in the final half minute of the third quarter. In game 2, the bench scored 36 for the Hornets tonight, only 4. Let's break it down some more. Del Curry and B.J. Armstrong, 10 of 16 from the field in Wednesday's game 2, 1 for 8 shooting tonight.
Yeah, but they're not getting what I would call good looks at the basket. Chicago has been all over them, and both of these guys function so much better when they're coming off screens and get a good catch and a nice look at the rim.
The Bulls will inbound with 22 on the shot clock, differential of about 5.
You have to remember, Dick, in game 1, the Charlotte bench only scored 8 points for the game.
So this production more like their game 1 effort when they lost 83-70. 8 on the shot clock. Tony Kukoc has 5 reserves in there now for the Bulls. Here's Kerr, leaves it for Wennington. That's his shot.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Wennington, very effective on that 15 to 18 footer.
Plenty of time here.
And the Bulls with their biggest lead, B.J. Armstrong. And it's tipped up and in by Matt Geiger at the buzzer. And the Hornets get the final basket, but Michael Jordan, who has 22, and 6 for 6 from the line, and the Chicago Bulls well on their way to taking the lead again in this best-of-7 series. After 3, the Bulls lead it 78-63. As we start the fourth quarter, the Bulls, who only scored 20 points in 1 quarter in game number 2, have gone over 23 times. But basically, Hubie, as we look at the shooting numbers, it's been the defense to spur on the Bulls.
Chicago shooting 51%, Charlotte 45.
45.
3-point field goals. Chicago 3 for 6. Charlotte 1 for 10. But how about this stat? Charlotte only attempted 6 foul shots in 3 quarters. That shows no low post game, and you're not getting drives to the basket in your half-court sets.
Well, the Bulls taking the starch out of the crowd here, just like they did to the New Jersey fans and team in Game 3 in their clinching effort in the first round. Del Curry with J.R. Reed, B.J. Armstrong, Donald Royal, and Matt Geiger out there for the Hornets. So Glenn Rice on the bench. He has 28 points, the game-high scorer right now, but getting more of a rest. Michael Jordan is in the lineup for the Bulls. And Kerr gambling, going after the loose ball, and we'll have a jump ball. Great hustle by Steve Kerr.
Now just watch this trap. See, they're forcing the man to go baseline. Kerr, excellent anticipation. Good hustle all around tonight by the guys in red. They have just done a very solid job. They're not playing a spectacular game. They're just playing a Chicago Bull solid game.
And for the 5 championship years previously, that has been enough as Scott Burrell fouls Donald Royal. Burrell, Jordan, Kukoc, Kerr in the lineup along with Dennis Rodman.
Now remember, in the first half, the bench, 14 points, 6 for 11. Scotty Burrell with 4 and Kerr with 6. Major, and this unit is on the floor right now.
And Burrell, a big spark at both ends in the first half, and again with a good defensive job that time, and Michael Jordan brings it down. Scott Burrell playing in his first playoff, and of course he was once a #1 draft pick by the Charlotte Hornets, the 20th pick. Played 4 years for the Hornets and now with the Bulls, and Jordan is pushed by J.R. Reed, and for Reed his second.
The reason why I'm laughing is J.R. Reed said, I got hooked. But, you know, when it's 23, you can get hooked, okay?
Just remember, Hubie, they've called Michael Jordan for a traveling violation and a technical foul.
I see he's talking that he caught my arm. Yeah. So he caught his arm.
So we've seen some things we don't normally see regarding number 23. Kukoc with a Rodman screen. Tony Kukoc still having his problems. Only 4 tonight. Has really come up empty thus far in this series.
Now he's 2 for 6 in this game and definitely struggling there.
Reed working against Kukoc with 10 on the shot clock. Early here in the fourth, and no basket if it goes. The foul by Kukoc before the shot.
If they're going to make a run, they need this unit out right now, meaning Charlotte. This unit has got to give them some high energy, like they did in Game 2.
Donald Royal came in, and he was a big plus. In fact, Dave Cowan said, I don't think we would have won without his efforts in the first half. Corey Beck, who has not played, also came in. So Dave Cowan's looking for energy from somewhere to get it going. Steal by Jordan, and he's tripped by J.R. Reed.
That was beautiful. Michael Jordan's man went to the basket, and Michael let him go and came right back and gambled on this pass. See, Michael is going. Watch him go out of your picture. Now here's the pass. Here he comes. Excellent anticipation. Before Michael went to baseball, his first 9 years, he would always be 1, 2, or 3 in the league in steals.
And as we mentioned again, all defensive first team for a record 9th year. And Donald Royal fouling Jordan from behind. And 2 shots coming up for Michael Jordan. So you pointed out the other night, Michael Jordan started to simmer a little bit too late in Game 2. He did not waste any time tonight. He has 22 points and perfect from the line at 6 for 6. And remember, there are a few Jordan supporters here in Charlotte. He missed the first free throw. Well, tomorrow night at 9 on TNT, Clint Eastwood stars in For a Few Dollars More. And on Monday night at 8, watch 3 hours of WCW Monday Night Nitro Live, the #1 series on basic cable.
Now that all defensive team was Jordan and Gary Payton at guards, Mutombo at center, Karl Malone and Scottie Pippen at the forward.
Surprised Rodman didn't make the first or second team.
I'd say mainly because Dickey's had such a great year, not only rebounding, but playing a center position because Longley missed over 30 games this year. So, you know, he really had to step up and play big for them.
Divac back in the game with 4 fouls, and Dave Cowens doesn't have the luxury of waiting on the Divac, and then Michael Jordan picking up his second personal foul, and a timeout called A little more than 2 minutes gone by here in the fourth quarter. The Bulls have been in command. And now it's time for tonight's Dutch boy in the paint. And the Chicago Bulls with an edge off the glass, out-rebounding the Hornets 34-28. The first time this series that the Bulls have had an edge in rebounding. And the Hornets, though, have a 8-point edge in points in the paint. Something like that.
Now keep an eye on Michael Jordan right here. Here's his man cutting to the basket. The basketball is here. Michael will take him halfway, and as the pass is made, Michael will change direction and come back for the steal. Now, the anticipation tonight by Jordan and Pippen has just been outstanding at the defensive end. And by Scottie Pippen making the all-defensive team for the 7th time, he joins Walt Frazier and Dennis Rodman.
So Rodman not making the first or second defensive teams. Has been there before 7 times. Glenn Rice and Bobby Phills into the game for the Hornets, along with Divac, J.R. Reed, and B.J. Armstrong, guarded by Kerr. Plenty of time on the shot clock for the Hornets, and an offensive foul called away from the ball, and it was against Longley. Well, let's check that out.
It was against Bobby Phills.
Yeah, it was against Phills.
Phil's
4 on Phil.
Yeah, Phil's just stepped down on that baseline screen and put a solid lick on Scottie Pippen and knocked it right on the floor.
Pippen bringing the ball up with Kerr, and he's got Jordan, Longley, and Kukoc. 2.5 minutes have gone by here in this fourth quarter. 79-63 to score, and Longley goes up, defended by Divac, and a foul is called as diving for the loose ball was Longley and Armstrong, and this will be on Luke Longley.
That should be his 5th. Is that his 5th?
5 fouls on Longley.
Yeah, and here comes Wennington.
Longley has 5, and he'll be replaced by Bill Wennington. And of course, not real cause for alarm when you consider that the Bulls lead by 16.
What you do not want to have happen now if you're Chicago is that this team, Charlotte, runs off a 9-0, 10-0 type of a run. But Charlotte's going to have to show us some real tough defense, which we have not seen consistently tonight.
Divac against Wennington. And that was a situation where Divac had the edge on Wennington, but couldn't convert. Michael Jordan, who has 23 points. Scottie Pippen with 14 and 9 at halftime. Jordan guarded by Phills, and Michael Jordan cannot convert. Good block out by the Hornets on the defensive glass.
I remember in the first quarter, Dick, Charlotte had 14 points on fast breaks. No fast break points since the end of the first quarter.
Then you talk about the great half-court defense the Bulls are playing, and it is a suffocating defensive night. 5 on the shot clock, and Glenn Rice misses, and Pippen is down court, but the Bulls don't see him.
I like the defensive adjustments that Chicago has made. They are challenging every shot attempt tonight. The hand is right up there.
Bill's trying to keep Jordan out. 7 on the clock. Bill Wennington travels as he tried to drive to the basket. So nearly 4 minutes gone by as Phil Jackson yelling at his own team, not happy with that offensive sequence, but the lead is still 16.
Yeah, that was just a miscatch. You know, unfortunately for Wennington, if he made a clean grab of that pass, he could have been off on the dribble because he was looking to penetrate.
Bulls up by 16 early here in the fourth.
We're going to show you some beautiful execution of defense. Pippen's block. Rodman not getting back down in the paint. Challenging the shot. There's your trap. Excellent anticipation. How about this? Watch this. Good defense. No ball fake. Hey, and right up and got a piece of the shot. And right here, there's Michael gambling and going to the floor.
But Hubie, so far we have a pitcher's duel in this fourth quarter. More than 4 minutes gone by, and the score is 1-0. Bulls have scored the only point in this fourth quarter with more than 4 minutes gone by. Glenn Rice with double team, and Divac after the fine pass. I don't know how Rice got it to Divac with 3 defenders in his face.
This is the 7th game between these teams this year. In the previous 6, Charlotte is averaging only 81 points. Now, you know that if they're going to make a run, it's got to happen defensively. We've got to see a better effort there.
Pippen is knocked down.
You know, from my angle, I thought that Scottie Pippen ran right into the chest of Divac, right there. I thought Divac was there. All he's got to do is take away the lane. And fortunately for Chicago, they get the call.
Well, 5 on Divac, so they call it on Vlade, and 5 fouls. He'll remain in the game. Bill Wennington, however, will go out. And right now the Bulls with Kerr, Jordan, Rodman, Pippen, and Kukoc. With under 7.5 to go in the fourth, there's Michael Jordan. Passes to Kukoc, and he's fouled.
On Michael's drive to the basket, it was a terrific block by Divac. He knocked it right to Kukoc. Kukoc goes right up, quick move, and gets fouled. See, Michael has been going baseline a lot tonight. See, he challenges right here. There's your block by Divac. And unfortunately for them, the ball went right to Kukoc.
J.R. Reed with 4 personal fouls. And a 15-point lead for the Bulls, and Randy Brown will give Steve Kerr a rest. Steve Kerr has played a terrific game tonight, trying to curtail B.J. Armstrong, who exploded in game number 2. Kerr has 8 points, including 2 trifectas. And there's the big free-throw gap, a huge one, 25 for the Bulls, only 6 for the Hornets.
Now in this series, Charlotte's averaging 21 a game. Now Tony Kukoc has got to make a major adjustment. During the year, the guy was averaging 34, 36 minutes with a starter. Now he's got to share all of this time with Luke Longley, so you know that it's difficult for him.
Divac gets the basket and draws the foul as well. Playing with 5 personals, Vlade Divac is fouled by Tony Kukoc, and that'll be 3 on Tony.
Yeah, everyone thinks that it's easy, Dick, to be a starter, play 34, 36 minutes, go to the bench, come off the bench, be exactly a major contributor like you were as a starter. It doesn't work that way. These guys are human. They sit on the bench, they dry out, they're not loose, they come in, and people want instant offense from Tony Kukoc.
Kukoc sits down, replaced by Luke Longley. Talk about players playing a lot of time. Vlade Divac with 41 minutes in game number 1. Remember, he only averaged 28 during the regular season, so he's playing more in this series. Sonics Lakers game 3, followed by Inside the NBA next on TNT. Here's Glenn Rice missing a 3, and Reed gets the offensive rebound.
We have not heard Glenn Rice's name, when you think about it, Dick, in a long time, in making a big splash.
He has not scored in the 4th quarter yet. We have a whistle and a foul, and Ron Elysiak telling Vlade Divac to keep his thoughts to himself. Foul called, however, against the Bulls. Scottie Pippen. Both teams in the penalty, and Divac will go to the line to shoot 2.
See, Scottie is still talking right now, and Ron Elysiak has already told Scottie, you know, to lay off. Michael Jordan intercepted, moved Pippen back, but Pippen is still saying he hooked my arm.
Divac playing with 5 fouls and coming off a tremendous game in game number 2 when he had 19 rebounds, including a big offensive rebound in the 4th quarter. And B.J. Armstrong converted to give the Hornets that a 5-point lead. That was a big one in game 2.
Now, right now, you are still within major striking distance. You have 6.5 minutes to go. That's right. You got it. Now, the Bulls have got to be smart.
Longley, and no one picked Luke Longley up as if it were the layup drill when they come out at the start of the game.
The big fella said, just like I used to do in Australia, handling the middle of the break.
7 points. Those were the days.
Yeah.
Reed with a tough shot over Rodman, out of bounds, and it's last touch by the Hornets.
Now, Charlotte gambled on that last possession. They got 4 guys caught at the other end of the floor, and the big fella just said, I'm going all the way.
And how about Longley now handling the ball at midcourt? He's feeling very energetic. after missing 22 of the last 24 games of the regular season. 83-69, nearly halfway through this fourth quarter. Michael Jordan against Phil's Longley, and it's tapped away by Divac with 3 on the shot clock for the Bulls.
If Dennis caught that, or it had hit his chest, it would have went right through his body. We would have had a hole where 91
is. Some movies have special effects showing that.
Dennis was lucky that the ball was deflected.
Anthony Mason will come back into the game for the Hornets, and the Bulls want a timeout with 6:02 remaining. And if the Hornets are ever to make a run, this may be the time. Jordan has been totally happy tonight. 83-69, the Bulls lead. Phil Jackson upset, and may have a good reason why. He's showing the official what happened, and he was correct.
Well, just keep an eye now to the left of your screen. As Michael makes the penetration move, here it is right here. You can see Rice had a hole of the shirt, and now as Longley passes the ball is deflected out of bounds. Phil Jackson very upset over the lack of the call.
Bulls have 3 seconds to attempt a shot. And Dennis Rodman inbounding. And here's Jordan with a fake, and Michael Jordan misses at the buzzer. Rodman is fouled. Dennis Rodman may not have numerically that many offensive rebounds, but he has been a horse inside off the offensive glass, 15 in all. And the personal foul on Mason will be his 3rd. Dennis Rodman, 8 points in this game, but rebounding in the playoffs. The top rebounder in the league, has continued the great efforts in the postseason. And remember, game 1 outplayed by Jason Williams, and it proved to be the wake-up call that Dennis Rodman needed, as his other rebounding numbers and other totals indicate.
Well, you know, Dick, he wins the rebounding championship again this year, and he had over 20 rebounds 16 times.
Amazing. Michael Jordan grabbing the loose ball, so the Bulls are hustling, getting the loose balls, and they're leading 84-69. Divac, remember, playing with 5 personal fouls, guarding Jordan, and a 3-second violation against Chicago.
Yeah, they have Dennis Rodman in the lane again on the opposite side. You know, a lot of people say, hey, what's the big deal about Rodman? You know, back in the old days, Wilt and Bill Russell used to get over 20 numerous times. But you still have to remember, Dennis Rodman is only 6'7" and 215 pounds. That's what is so amazing about what he does.
David Wesley checking back in at point guard, and Glenn Rice loses the ball but a foul. Rice, by the way, has not scored a basket in 9 minutes. So a long drought for the Hornets. He had 28 points. So there you see Rice and Mason. 42 points in the game, scoreless in the 4th, and the rest of the team has struggled throughout. That last foul was on Michael Jordan, his 3rd, and Rice 2 at the line.
We've been talking about the Chicago defense all night. And you have to look at this and say, Scottie Pippen has just done a terrific job on Rice. We want Rice to get better looks. We want Rice to score more points. And everyone in this building want Rice to have a good night. Well, Scottie Pippen is sacrificing, and he is working hard to not allow him to get the good catch.
And credit to Rice that he is 12 for 25 despite the defense by Scottie Pippen. So he's done a good job, but not as of late. 84-70 to score. The Bulls lead down to 14 with 5:14 to go. Plenty of time if Charlotte makes a concerted run. Wesley and Phil's defending Kerr and Jordan. Rice is on the Pippen.
Well, they're doing a good job running time.
Mason on the switch. Longley with the hook shot. Well done. Good ball movement by Chicago.
See, they're very experienced, as we know. That's why they're a championship team. They know how the run clock.
Longley with 11. Remember, he had 15 off the bench, and a 3-point basket. They now rule. And it's now 86-73. And Wesley with the 3-point shot.
See, their major plus for them is that Rodman or Pippen can bring a ball up.
Pippen found Jordan and went backdoor, and it took a little while before the Bulls got him the ball, but Pippen finally did.
Oh, that was just a great backdoor move by Michael.
And Michael Jordan now with 25 points. 86-72, or 88-72 to score. 16-point lead by the Bulls as we get close to the 4-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Bulls tonight have just been beautiful with the ball. Very few turnovers since the first quarter.
And their defense has been exemplary, as good as it's been throughout the entire playoff series. Jordan is fouled, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2, and that's 5 on Phils.
Now keep an eye on Longley right here with the beautiful hook. And you know, the guy is looking to score, and he's up. Now watch Michael Jordan backdoor his man. Phils went for the overplay. Michael just went right backdoor on him. And when you lose body contact on a great score, it's usually death. But you got to get the pass.
5 rebounds and 6 assists going along with Jordan's 25 points. Up until the last game, Michael Jordan had scored at least 32 in every playoff game. He had 22. Good enough to lead the Bulls in a losing cause. Luke Longley leaves the game, replaced by Tony Kukoc. Steve Kerr goes out and Randy Brown going in. The Bulls have been in command and challenged briefly late in the first quarter, but this has been business as usual for the red and black tonight.
Well, you have to like, if you're a Bull fan, you love what Longley's doing in games 2 and 3. He's showing you that he's coming back after such a long layoff. The offense is there. He's making himself, his presence, his physical presence is there. He takes up so much room in the painted area.
And as you see, Michael Jordan again going to the free throw line, something he could only do 3 times in game number 2. Corey Beck in the game for the Hornets for the fake on Michael Jordan and the drive and the foul. With 3:45 remaining, the Bulls lead 90-72, an 18-point lead, and their biggest of the game. And it wasn't that long ago, QB, that the Hornets had it down to 12. But the Bulls turned on the burners, and they're starting to empty their bench now. Judd Bushler making his first appearance in the game. Beck makes the first free throw. Coming up tomorrow on NBC, showtime at 12:30, followed by Game 3, the Pacers and the Knicks. That series 2-0 in favor of Indiana. Then Game 3 of the Jazz and Spurs with Utah up front 2-0. Beck with the free throws. And the lead is 16 for Chicago. And they took the crowd out of this game. Nothing Dave Cowens could conjure up as he did in Game 2 tonight. The Bulls were just too strong at both ends.
Well, the frightening thing about this is if you're with Charlotte, coaching staff, is once again, you know, you only have 74 points, Dick, and we have 3.5 minutes to go. Now, it's garbage time. You know, Chicago's put in a lot of the subs right now, so you might get 80. But basically, you know that this team just strangles you. In the game that you did defeat them in Chicago, you only scored 78 points, and you had a miracle fourth quarter with Curry and B.J. Armstrong giving you 21 points and making almost every long-range jump shot.
So you have to go back to what the pattern of the series been, and that has been Mason and Rice and not enough other productivity for them to get more than 81 points.
Yeah, Divac gives you the rebounding, but he's not giving you the points in the series. So who else? Where is this third guy going to come from in the game on Sunday and again next Wednesday?
And you remember the Hornets were 3rd in three-point percentage in the regular season, only 1 of 13 tonight in this game. And Divac gets the basket and the foul, but it'd be too little too late for the Hornets. Kukoc now with 5 personal.
Now this is just a nice move by Divac, but you know he's got to be more involved. But with that first unit, when Mason posting up so much, he's not that involved down on the box.
Divac's double-double effort again tonight. He had double figures in the points and rebounds in game 1. He has 13 points, 12 rebounds. As we get near 3 minutes remaining in the game, 92-77, the Bulls lead. So as they've had so many times in their history, coming up with a big road win. Judd Bushler getting the ball back for the Bulls.
The Bulls have so many role players who are outstanding. Judd Bushler had a terrific year for the Bulls. Randy Brown had a great year out with the second unit. And then you have Steve Kerr, you have Winnington, you know, Kukoc. You have so many guys who fit the need of the team.
And I think you hit the nail when you said role players. That's what they operate on. Here's Mason. Mason feeds Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice now with 31 points.
Look out.
And Pippen at the other end gets it right back.
Where are your guards? Where are your guards? When you have a 2-on-1 and a layup, the rest of the people stop at half court and get back.
15-point lead for the Bulls. And they've come here, and the Charlotte Hornets with the big crowd. How many times have we seen that before as Mason gets in? And the Bulls have been there before, and you pointed out they swept round 1 last year, 5 games in round 2, 5 games in the conference finals before they won the NBA championship, beating Utah in 6. And against the Atlanta Hawks, same position, came back and won game 3 on the road and 1 in 5 after getting that scare, losing the second game at home. Foul underneath with 1:45 remaining. And that'll be on Glenn Rice.
Yeah, down inside with Dennis Rodman. They get Rice, you know, backing Dennis Rodman out of there.
Jimmy, let me ask you, we know that Dave Cowens pulled a rabbit out of the hat doing something bold and unusual in game 2. Looking ahead to game 4, what is there for it?
Well, I think you have to go back and just hope that your team is going to shoot a better percentage, that you're going to clean up your offensive half-court sets, because that's their major problem here tonight. Sure, they've scored in transition, but no second shot points tonight, and you're not getting high percentage looks out of your half-court offense. That has to be cleaned up by Sunday afternoon.
Bench wasn't there, neither was the three-point shooting as Mason goes to the bench. Let's check in with Craig Sager.
Dave Cowens and Anthony Mason have been going at it the entire 4th quarter. Dave Cowens just took him out of the game and said, shut up. If you want to play for me, you sit down and be quiet. So we may have some more repercussions after this game later.
Well, nothing unusual about that, Craig, because after game number 1, as Matt Geiger misses the layup, Anthony Mason said that Dave Cowens has to know his players a little better because he wants the game to come to me and I want to be aggressive. So this has been the story all year, really, for these two.
Dave Cowens summed it up perfectly. He said, you know, to the press, he said, Anthony Mason is a grumpy old man. And he said all he does is complain. And a lot of guys who look at that and say, you know, he's not happy unless he's complaining. But he's also upset because they just got embarrassed here this evening. And that's what's bothering Anthony Mason more than anything else. And he has not come in with big numbers tonight.
Judd Bushler gets the 3 at one end, and David Wesley lays it in. And you got to give a little credit to Dave Cowens, who played in the league and know that that's going to happen. I think Dave Cowens was probably grumpy himself during some of his years with the Boston Celtics, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, well, there's a guy who played with his heart on his sleeve at 6'9", the center position, and made the All-Star team 6 times, and only was on the championship team twice, MVP in the finals in '74. I would say that David has been in a few big games there in his career.
So. And he has a different style of coaching, a modern style, where he'll ask the players, do you think this will work? And we'll get the sanction from them. So to each his own, as Randy Brown fouls David Wesley. But the Bulls coming back and winning the game they had to win, as Michael Jordan said, now getting home court advantage back, and will take a 2-1 lead into Sunday's Game 4.
Anytime that you coach in this league and you get to the playoffs, you can talk all about what you average during the season. And Charlotte averaged 96 points. It's what you average at playoff time when you get past that first round. Because now once you get into the second round, you're meeting one of the 2 best teams in your conference. And invariably, they are very sound defensively. Now, can your offensive sets work against this type of tenacity at the defensive end? Plus, they're not going to give you second shot attempts to get easy scores. And that's what we're seeing in this series.
No question about it. Divac's fouls out of the game. And Vlade Divac tonight with 13 points and 14 rebounds. Yeoman work again, this time in a losing cause for the Hornets. We looked at Glenn Rice on the bench. 31 points for Glenn Rice. But it was a hard 31 looking at Scottie Pippen's defensive blanket on him. And Michael Jordan, 27 points tonight. As Scott Burrell makes the first free throw. But Michael Jordan had a lot of help, something he didn't have in Game 2, and the rest of the starting unit shot a measly 25%. But Pippen had 18, Longley had 11, and Rodman had 10, including 17 rebounds. Travis Williams fouled hard. Well, they're still fouling hard in this one by Judd Bushler.
Well, Judd went for the shot block. He did make a nice block. Unfortunately, there was a lot of contact.
Travis Williams, rookie from South Carolina State, undrafted. Seeing his first action in this series. Donald Royal, Matt Geiger, David Wesley, and Corey Beck in the lineup for the Hornets. 101-85, the Chicago Bulls will make it 2-1 over the Charlotte Hornets in the best of 7 with Game 4 here at the Coliseum on Sunday. Game 5 scheduled for next Wednesday. We'll have that one from the United Center. Dickie Simpkins hits the field goal. Final seconds of the game. So the Hornets, who beat Atlanta in 4. And the three-point basket. And the final score, 103-89. Time runs out, and the Chicago Bulls did what they had to do. They went on the road, and they got outstanding defensive play. And they were in sync offensively as well, and win going away over the Hornets 103-89, and now lead 2-1 in the best of 7. Let's go out now to Craig Sager.
Well, Michael, this was the first must-win game, I guess, so far in the playoffs. How'd you feel your team played offensively and defensively?
I think we played pretty well. I think this team is going to come in with a lot of enthusiasm and motivation with the home crowd. But, I mean, we came in with a better focus tonight, and I think we played pretty much our game. You know, it got kind of ugly down the stretch, but for the most part, we did what we had to do.
The comment by Jerry Reinsdorf that he plans to keep the team intact if you win a championship. Was that bad timing, or was that good timing and it relaxed you guys?
Well, we can't really worry about that right now. I think our focus is to win the 6th championship, and whatever happens after that happens. I mean, he has a prerogative to say whatever he chooses to say, and when the season's over, I'm pretty sure we all sit down and evaluate the situation.
All right, thanks. So let's go back to Dick and Hubie.
All right, thank you very much, Craig, and we'll be back with a final word from the Charlotte Coliseum in just a moment.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Budweiser. Now is the perfect time to enjoy a fresh, cold, Beechwood-aged Budweiser. By Lexus. The future of Lexus is here. Fasten your seatbelts. By your local AutoZone stores. For the right parts at the right price, look no further than AutoZone. And by Nike.
So for Hubie Brown and Craig Sager, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long from the Charlotte Coliseum. The final score once again, the Bulls 103, the Hornets 89. Coming up next, it's the Sonics and the Lakers, Game 3, followed by Inside the NBA, where Craig Sager is on top of all the stories. So stay tuned to TNT for all the latest from Charlotte. So long, everybody.